Whether you're watching this on your phone, a computer screen, or even a TV, you're getting the same 16 million colors that everyone got in the early 90s. What's up with that? Hey crazies, all screens work within something called the RGB, or red, green, blue color space. You may have even seen a diagram like this showing how combinations result in other colors. Screens take advantage of this. Each pixel in a screen has a red light, a green light, and a blue light. Modern screens come in a bunch of different layouts, but the idea is always the same. The pixels are made so small that your eyes blur the red, green, and blue together. Why red, green, and blue? Because that is how human vision works. At the back of each eye, you've got this thing called a retina that has all sorts of sensors on it. But it would be wasteful to have sensors for every color when 3 types will do. One for long wavelengths, one for medium, and one for short. Or in other words, red, green, and blue-ish. Since each sensor can also detect intensity, combining multiple signals results in a unique signal for every color. Evolutionary efficiency at its finest. Mwah! Naturally, we've tried to design our screens and the software that comes with them around human vision. But a diagram like this isn't mathy enough to be useful for screen design. Imagine for a moment that each of these 3 primary colors represents a dimension in 3D space. Every color your screen can make would be a vector in that space. And if we displayed them all, it would look something like this. Each RGB value can be anywhere from 0 to 255. That's 256 possible values each. You'll understand where that number comes from a little later. 256 times 256 times 256 makes for 16,777,216 possible colors. That's a lot of colors. Can people even see that many colors? Human vision maxes out around 10 million colors, but some of those are outside of the RGB color space, so it's complicated. Let's start with a better question. Can screens make fewer colors without us noticing? And the answer is absolutely yes. 16 million is overkill. 2 million would be more than enough for most people. It's just that controlling a screen with 16 million colors costs the same as a screen with 2 million, because they use the same number of bytes. Let me explain. The smallest increment of computing is a bit, or binary digit. Each of those bits can either be on or off, like a switch, and we interpret those states as either a 1 or 0. I've got a whole video on this if you haven't seen it. I'm not going to rehash the entire explanation. What matters for this video is that computers aren't just a pile of individual bits. These bits are organized, most notably into groups of 8, called bytes. And they were organized like this long before we had multicolored screens. It's baked into how computers are designed. 1 byte can contain all binary numbers from 0 to 255. In other words, it has 256 possible states. Hence the 256 used for colors in RGB. 16 million colors is 8 bits, or 1 entire byte for red, 1 byte for green, and 1 for blue, per pixel. Also known as 24-bit color. A 4K screen has over 8 million pixels, which comes to a grand total of 199 million bits. If we only used 7 bits for color instead of 8, we'd have 2 million available colors, and it would save us almost 25 million bits. So why don't we do that? Because 7 isn't a factor of 8. The bits are still organized into those 8-bit bytes. What's a computer supposed to do with 1 bit left over in a sea of bytes devoted to color? Might as well just use it for color and be done with it. It's there regardless. So have screens always had 16 million colors? No, memory used to be very expensive. Early computer engineers had to get real creative with those bytes in order to keep costs down. The screens I started on as a kid only had 16 colors. They were still made with red, green, and blue, just using fewer bytes. Well, technically it was RGBI, or 4-bit color. Red on or off, green on or off, blue on or off, and intensity for the entire set, high or low. That's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, or 16 colors. Since bytes are groups of 8, it's real easy to split usage into 2 groups of 4, hence 4-bit color. It cuts the memory usage in half. Earlier monochrome screens used 2-bit color, which is 4 groups of 2. But the reason this works is because 2 and 4 are both factors of 8. You can still use the entire byte for color, it's just divided over multiple pixels. A 7 and 1 grouping wastes the last bit, so it doesn't actually save anything. Might as well just use all 8. We started making 16 million color screens back in the early 90s, and we haven't added any color since, because we hit the limit of human vision. At least the limit within the RGB color space. This cube doesn't contain all possible colors, only the colors your screen can make. Again, human eyes can see a few colors that screens can't make. So it's kind of bold when they call 24-bit color true color. What this really is a cube that's been divided beyond the maximum number of colors humans can distinguish within the RGB color space. So max color might be a better name than true color, but I digress. The result is over 16 million colors coming at your face, and it's already more than your eyes can handle. Anything higher is just a marketing scheme. And until next time, remember, it's okay to be a little crazy. Will red dwarfs ever reach the white dwarf stage? No red dwarf has had a chance to get to the end of its life yet, but there's no reason to expect it not to get there eventually. They'll probably have a slightly different composition, but they will become a white dwarf. Anyway, thanks for watching.